What's up, Regina? We are back for the 4th episode of the Inside Regina Project. Every month, we are going to have one local non-for-profit organization on our show, and today we have one that's close to our hearts, and I'll let Kelsey explain a little bit about that.
This week, we have Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Regina. We have Jonathon Carrier with us. He is the marketing and recruitment manager for Big Brothers, Big Sisters. We chose Big Brothers because I love Big Brothers. To be quite honest with everybody, I've been a big within the program for the last year or so. I have a mentee. She's 8, and she's a big part of my life. So when we started doing this, it was just kind of unquestionable that we started off with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Regina.
That was one of the first things you said when we said we're going to have a nonprofit. Kelsey said, "This is the organization we need to have on
here." And it was, it was a given. It was going to happen. So, John, why don't you tell us a little bit about Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Regina? What you guys do? How long have you guys been around for?
Well, let me just say thanks for having us. First and foremost, really happy to be here. Well, what we do is we match kids from the community with quality volunteer mentors, and we just send them out into the community to have fun and do whatever it is that they like to do. Our programs have been available in Regina since 1971. In that time, we've served about 1,500 kids, give or take. We're really excited because in the last 5 years or so has been the last 800 or 900 of those kids. So it's really starting to take off in the city in a really big way.
Very nice.
Yeah.
What do you guys find that the program offers the kids and the mentors above anything else?
Companionship, I think, is the biggest thing. Having real relationships in your life can have a really big effect on how you see yourself and your place in the world. So by giving a kid a quality relationship and somebody they can talk to and look up to, confide in if necessary, or just bounce ideas around off of, can really go a long way to who they become as an adult.
Cool. Whenever people ask me what Big Brothers Big Sisters is or what I do, I always tell them that my role in the mentor and the mentee's life, in the little's life, is not to be a parent or a big sister perhaps. I always tell people that I'm really just being a positive influence and providing a good support system outside of the home that all children need.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're not a parent or a coach or a teacher, somebody being paid or forced to spend time with this kid, you just genuinely think they're a really fun person and you want to spend time with them, you kind of instantly have their attention. They immediately want to know who you are and spend time with you and eventually potentially emulate you and become like you as a person. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
When there's no pressure in the relationship, they tend to open up a lot more, right? When they feel like they don't have to, and like you're just hanging out with them because you want to.
Yeah, exactly. The impact that it can have on a kid's life is profound. It can go as deep as changing the structure of their brain, and it can really change, like I said, the way they see themselves and their place in the world. But the funnest part about it, I think, is that it just happens by spending time with them. If you just go and play laser tag, or you go and bake some cookies, or watch a movie, or go swimming, naturally you're having this effect just through that kind of process. You don't have to think about what you're planning to do to change this kid's life this week. You just hang out with them and spend time with them. It's pretty great.
That's really cool. I think all of us know probably of someone who's had a really big impact in our lives, maybe from the time we were kids, other than our parents or someone in our family. So I think, especially maybe these kids now, are they like at-risk kids, or are they just kids from like tell us a little bit about who these kids are that we're helping here?
Yeah, sure. So Big Brothers Big Sisters of Canada has been around for over 100 years. Mm-hmm. And when it first started, it was just Big Brothers, and it was just boys who didn't have any kind of a male role model around whatsoever. If you had an uncle in the same city, sorry, you weren't for the program. And generally more at-risk or lower income kind of kids. Mm-hmm. It isn't that way anymore. Now it's our mission is that every kid that needs a mentor gets one. And that can be any kid. If you show me a kid between 6 and 16 who can look you in the eye and tell you, I got this life thing figured out, don't worry about it, that kid maybe doesn't need a mentor. Yeah. Every other single kid could use another adult in their life to look up to.
Again, just a positive influence, somebody to hang out with, spend time with, talk to in a positive way.
Yeah. And so we have kids in the program who maybe have a single mom. She could make 6 figures. It doesn't matter if she needs somebody to spend some time with her son. There's single dads in the program who maybe just don't have anything in common with their kid, and they kind of butt heads. Dad wants to work on the car and go to a football game, and the son wants to stay at home playing video games or working on the computer. And his dad just says, you know what, I can't be the mentor, the confidant that my son needs, so I'm going to help find him somebody else. We have immigrant families who have, dad's working 3 jobs trying to just make sure the kids are taken care of and fed, and he's got the clarity of mind to say that maybe my kids could use some help assimilating to this new culture, or just having somebody to spend time with, because I don't have the time for them right now. So generally it's very self-aware parents who put really fortunate kids in touch with us, and we hopefully find them somebody with similar interests.
So tell us a little bit about your journey within Big Brothers Big Sisters. So you when did you start, and how have you seen your own journey progress?
Well, for me, it all started with that Simpsons episode, remember, where Homer becomes a big brother, or Bart gets a big brother first, and Homer gets jealous. So that kind of planted the seed a decade or more ago.
Hey, thanks to Simpsons.
Shout out,
yeah.
But then eventually, I think I saw a poster in a restaurant, and I just took a picture of it with my phone. That was about 5 years ago. Signed up and met my first little, and just started hanging out.
You have a little now? I
do. I have. I'm on my second little brother. He's a great kid. We started hanging out when he was about 6. He just was old enough for the program. And it's been a really fun journey to kind of watch him grow as a person, see him learning to swim better, or just changing his mannerisms and growing into a different kind of guy.
Just little things like that too. Hey, on the topic of swimming, Mila and I go swimming all the time, and last summer she wasn't as good as she was this summer, but I know we've been swimming a handful of times, and she's just getting better as she ages and as she practices, and it's like a nice little love thing inside to see the kids blossom, right?
Yeah, it really is. About halfway through hanging out with this guy, I actually moved away for about 1.5 years. And when I was gone, I would periodically come back for work, so we'd hang out. And then I moved back, and I asked Big Brothers, this is when I started working for them, if he was still available, if he still was on the wait list, as it were. And they said, yeah, he was. So I was able to jump on with him again and kind of pick up where we left off. And that was just over 1 year ago now. So
I bet you that made him feel really special too, that you came back.
It was a pretty touching moment, that's for sure.
So I wanted to ask, I know we asked what kind of kids you get when you get involved with the program, but what kind of adult do you have to be when you get involved with the program?
Honestly, just anybody can do it. We like to say if you've ever been a kid in your life, you'll probably be just fine at this. So if you can remember how to play video games or go swimming or laugh and have fun, you can do this. Obviously, there's a screening process involved, so you have to pass a criminal record check and a pretty rigorous interview and reference process, and some training and things like that, which obviously helps equip people with the tools to do what we do, to volunteer and spend time with the kid, but also helps to make sure that people are truly committed and ready to do this. We do ask for a commitment of 1 year for the traditional match, so that can be a bit of a big commitment for somebody. Not everybody's sure if they're able to step into that. So going through this process can kind of help you fully understand what you might be getting into. Fortunately, we do have lots of other options. There's the in-school mentoring program, which is just the duration of the school year, and it's only an hour a week in school, just doing anything non-academic with the kid, anything that you like to do, build a puzzle, paint a picture, kick a soccer ball, whatever, in a supervised school environment, which is really good. And we do also have our Game On and our Go Girls programs, which are shorter programs that last about 8 weeks. And it's about 1.5 hours a week. Generally, we do that at the school because it's easier to get all the kids in one place. And those have a pretty solid healthy eating and living kind of component, again, surrounded by sports or crafts or other kind of things like that.
I know for the Go Girls program, it really promotes healthy body image and, like you said, healthy eating, good friendships, positive influences within your small circle of girlfriends.
Absolutely, and helping you to see life a little bit more objectively. I always like to talk heavily in those about advertising and stereotypes and those kind of things that we're surrounded by all the time, and can be really ingrained in the culture that we live in, but not necessarily be aware of at that age. Those kids in that program are grades 6 to 8, so they are a little bit more mature than some of the kids in the other program. But sorry, I should just mention too, because I forgot, age of the kids in the program are from 6 to 16 is usually the ages.
Great.
So do the kids in the program, you said there was mentioned a wait list. Does that mean that there's a big need for Big Brothers and Big Sisters right now?
Always, absolutely. There's always a need for volunteers. Any bit of recruitment or marketing campaigns that we do to get volunteers do tend to get the attention of parents and kids as well. And there's also an organic kind of effect that it really is. For almost every match we make, two more kids come through the door later. And it's just because it works. It's because teachers and parents and other neighborhood people see the impact that it might have on this one boy or girl, and they just want that for their child or their students, so they kind of sign them up or at least mention it to the parents. Yeah.
That's really cool. Next question, I wanted to know how many hours a week are you supposed to spend with the kids as a mentor?
We shoot for 2 or 3. That's kind of the minimum of what we want to see. We do understand that people have lives outside of this. So if someone was going on vacation or a work trip for 2 weeks or something like that, you can always miss a week.
Understandable.
Yeah, as long as we communicate that well to the parents and the kids, it's fine. They're going to go on vacation too and leave for a couple of weeks. It happens. We also have had sometimes people where it's better to just hang out once every second week, and as long as they kind of do that for 4 or 5 hours, and as long as we kind of get that 8 hour a month or more time together, it's pretty flexible. But kids really do thrive on consistency, so the more that we can see that once a week thing happen, the better it is for sure.
I usually try to spend every Monday night with Mila. I pick her up at 6 and I bring her home around 8:30, stuff her full of sugar, and then drop her off with her mom again.
Absolutely, yeah.
Her parents probably love you, right?
They do. I'm great.
She's a huge fan. I talked to her, actually. I know she's a fan.
They appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Cool. So even Kelsey, yourself, you've been in the program for how long?
A year. Just over a year. Mila and I matched May of 2016, I believe.
And you've been pressuring me to kind of, hey, you should do this. It's been good for me, and it's awesome because having people to advocate for big brothers, big sisters is huge, right? Especially in a situation, in a position of influence like yourself. So like, how big of an impact has it had on your life even to do that?
Oh, I'm gonna cry if you ask me this question. On my life, I really think that, when I started in real estate, I wanted something that I could contribute to that wasn't necessarily work related, but I wanted to do something that was important. And I don't know, it was like automatic. I just filled out the application, and then Leah called, and then we sat down and we talked, and there was like really no hesitation in the program for me. But I think mostly what Big Brothers has given me is just a sense of not really accomplishment, but I know I'm making a difference in Mila's life. I know that I am a positive and a strong female role model for her, and that's really all that's important to me, and I demonstrate that in the stuff that we do together every week, and that's really just what I aim for. It gives me all sorts of mushy and good feelings on the inside. Like, I'll never forget the first time we went to the Pats game last year, and she was 7. She's just little. Hey, there's too many people around, but she just so innocently reached up and grabbed my hand, and we were just walking, and it was so nice. I was like, oh. Yeah. It was just the nicest feeling ever, and that made me feel really special. It was like a trust thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what, I don't know about anybody else, but I would imagine those are the things that all of us mentors are trying to do for our littles.
Yeah, it can really have it has as big of an impact on the mentor as it does on the kid, that's for sure. The program can be a great experience for up-and-coming teachers or social workers, people who might have to deal with a child in a one-on-one situation later on and not know exactly what they're getting into. Parents, people who are looking to become parents some days, it's one of the big reasons that people say. It's always kind of a secondary reason, but it's definitely something people think about is I don't know, let me spend time with a 6 or 7 year old so that when my kid is that age, I will have had something under my belt. It's either that or a really great contraceptive. Sometimes you spend 3 or 4 hours a week with a kid and you're like, okay, that's enough. That's all I need for the week. I'm good.
You do get to give them home at the end of the day. It works.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's the best part, but it's consistently up there as a fun thing of the day. Yeah.
Okay, John, why don't you tell us where we can find you online?
We are pretty well everywhere. We've got a website, we're Facebook, we're Twitter, we're Instagram. Pretty much all of it is BBBS Regina, so it's bbbsregina.ca, Facebook / Twitter, everything. Pretty consistent.
And the website?
Yep, bbbsregina.ca.
Okay, yeah. Awesome.
bbbsregina.ca.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so look them up if you are interested in becoming a big brother, big sister like Kelsey.
We will drop an application in the link wherever we're going to put it, either in the comments or just on the post itself.
come sign up. It's pretty fun.
It's a really awesome program, and Big Brothers Big Sisters is always looking for big mentors, I guess.
It's pretty interchangeable. It's fine.
Don't be afraid if you're a nice person and you like to feel good about yourself and about kids, then you would be a good fit for the Big Brothers program.
Generally, anybody can be a role model for 2 or 3 hours a week. You can do whatever you want in the rest of your time. So as long as you can put on that face for a couple hours, you
awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, Jonathan.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We will see everybody else next week.